I believe that Dr. Usman Friakoto has the credentials to make that happen for us in our country. So he's the person that I'm recommending to the Parliament as our enterprises beginning to expand and grow and create jobs and our economy to be on an outward path. The issues that we have had with the supply of energy in the last 5 years have to be things of the past. We must find a way to be able to have reliable supply of energy and at competitive rates for our industries and enterprises, also affordable for also consumers. That's his charge. It's a big charge. Because essentially what he has to do is to assure the Ghanaian people that Dumso is going to be a thing permanently of the past and that its head will not rear up again, especially in Akufo-Addo's time as president. He's a banker, very successful banker. He's banked for years, vice president of an important American bank, the Bank of New York, and there had the exposure to important financial transactions in the area of energy, whether it is in establishing power plants across the world, in financing them, or exploration for petroleum. But he has a very broad experience in the energy sector, and I think that to have somebody at the head of the energy sector who's also very particular about figures, having regard to the recent history that we've had about contracts that have generated a great deal of controversy in the energy sector, is going to be very important for us. He's a product of Mfantsipim and of the University of Ghana and of universities in America. He's played a very active role in the politics of our party since he came back from America, and has become an important voice in the energy industry in Ghana. So I think that he is in a position to provide the leadership of this very important sector of our national economy. Seems to be all kinds of problems about the duplication of activities and the need for us to rationalize the infrastructure of our energy sector. I believe that Boakye Jackoo is in a position to undertake that task and undertake it successfully. So he is the person that I am recommending to the Parliament for approval as energy sector. We're putting back petroleum and power. I think that the division of it, in my view, doesn't make much sense, to be able to consolidate it so that we can have one person at the top with all the various institutions and able to have a look, a bird's eye view of the whole and be able to produce the efficiency and the development that we want. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the Parliament, Mr. Boakye Jackoo is the person we have. The next person on the list is a relatively young man who's had really a very spectacular career in Ghanaian politics. I remember the first time I saw him being, to some extent, a little bit astonished. I walked in, I was then, I believe, Attorney General, I believe. I'd come to the House early because I was going to answer questions. And I think, the very first person in the chamber sat there to look at my notes and prepare myself. Then I felt there was the presence of somebody else in the House. I turned around and I saw this, with respect, very babyish looking young man sitting in the back, and then he was staring at me and I was staring at him. And so I went up to him and I asked him, "Who are you?" He said, "Oh, he's the new MP for Bimbela." We just had a by-election in Bimbela at the time, and that he was the new MP for Bimbela. And he turned out to be Dominic Nitiwo. We became very friendly from that time onwards. And I've watched his career. He's proved to be a very strong figure in our party. It's been returned by the people of Bimbala several times. It's a very serious involvement in the work of our parliament, where he became deputy minority leader until recently. And he has also been the chairperson of the campaign sector committee on defense. Has become somebody very conversant with the problems and the issues confronting our security, the armed forces especially, of our country. I believe that he's going to be able to provide a fresh perspective on some of the problems that the armed forces have and be able to reestablish the balance within the armed forces and make sure that we have a modern armed forces in Ghana that is dealing with the problems of armed forces today, not necessarily responding to the armed forces issues of yesterday. It's an onerous responsibility. He's a relatively young man as ministers of defense go, but I believe that he has shown sufficient quality already in the House and in his public life to be able to undertake this very important assignment. It's for me a great deal of pleasure to be able to promote him and